I'm buying for $1,000 at the 1-3 table. It looks like a pretty good game. It's playing a little short-handed at the start, but the players that are there are very active, and a couple of them are extremely wild, and one of them is extremely stuck. First interesting hand of the day, there was a limp. A player raises to 15. I call big blind, and the limper calls. So we go 4 ways to this flop with $61 in the center. Flop comes out queen high with a jack, but it's all in hearts. Not the ideal flop for jack 10 suited. And when it gets checked to me, even though I got a second pair, I'm just going to check this one back and take a free card. Free card's a good one. It's a jack of spades, so we make 3 of a kind. We could be beaten by some slow played flushes, and maybe even a jack with a better kicker. Player to my right now leads for $20. Seems like a fair price. I think raising is maybe getting a little bit too confident with our hand. So I decided just to put in the call. Yeah, give someone a chance to draw to a flush if they want a cheap draw at it, but the other 2 players end up folding out. River card comes as a 9 of spades, really a complete blank. My opponent now checks to me. This is a clear sign to bet. If he had a flush, I think he would just bet for value. If he had a jack, I think he would probably bet for value. So I'm going to bet for value. I make a half-size pot bet here. He tries to catch me bluffing, but I got the goods this time, and we win our first pot of the day. Oh, we decided to do a $15 bomb pot. There are only 5 players that were interested in doing it, but the game was a little bit short, and we're trying to create some action, so what the heck. We go to a flop that comes out Queen 9-5 rainbow. I don't know what I have yet. Just noticed that player leads for $30, and a very active player calls for the $30, and I look down at 2 pair. First player has about 400 in their stack. Second player has about 200. I decided to make it 130 at this point. Could probably go a little bit larger, but I kind of want to get called because, as I said, short-handed, you got 2 pair. That's what you want to have. Not too worried about sets. If the person has queen 9, so be it. If they have jack 10, they're going to be gambling. First player folds. Next one calls. Says he's drawing. Turn card comes king. Obvious draw gets there. He says he's there. And he shows over jack 10. I get a late start on filming this hand. I was the $6 straddle, and I got a couple limps from the players behind me. And it comes around to the player who just beat me with the jack 10. And he puts in a raise to $91. Now, he has been very, very active. He's probably pretty wide open right now, and is very, he's known to make very large bets pre-flop and just try to take down dead money. I got ace queen here. I decided to call. The only reason I called instead of 3-betting was because the players behind me were all very short, and it wouldn't make any difference. And then I'll be giving away the strength of my hand to this other player who's likely just to punt off his entire stack if you give him the opportunity. So I just call. The player to my left calls for a little bit less. And then the next player goes all in for all his chips, which is like another 20-something dollars. So we ended up putting in the call for that. So we have one main pot with all 4 of us involved, and the second one is for the 3 of us, and then we're going to be starting on a dry side pot between me and the player who is, I say, a little tilted and is ready to blast off. The dealer figures out all the little side pots and everything and gets everything squared away, and here we go. We're off to a flop, looking to hit an ace, a queen, or something good for us, or at least not good for him. Flop comes out 9-6-3. Yeah, not a good flop for me. Might have to give this up. I check it. He now fires $200, saying that he's just trying to get me out of the pot, and I believe him. So What could he be doing this? He could have a flush draw. He has tons of equity against me, but I think ace high might be good here. So I make a crying call for the 200. Probably not the smartest thing in the world to do. And we get a beautiful queen of spades on the turn. I would lead into him, but he was already grabbing chips to bet, so I checked it to him. He makes a bet for 500. Of course, I'm not going anywhere. In fact, I'm going to get the rest of my chips in. And so I make the raise for, like, I think it was like another $38, and joked with him about whether he was going to fold if I raised. Anyway, he makes the call, and we're going to go see a river card. Just hoping to dodge a diamond here, and we get a 10 of clubs on the end. He says that he missed. I turn over my ace queen. He kind of shows his neighbor. I asked if he had ace king of diamonds, and he showed the ace 3 of diamonds. So I was pretty much drawing almost completely dead on the flop, and I caught the miracle queen. So got very lucky here. I'm not proud that the call I made, but it just happened to work out this time. The main and the second pot went to the player in seat 9. He happened to show over pocket kings, so good for him, good for me. First player opens for 10, next player makes it 20. I got 2 8s in the cutoff. I decided to make the call for the 20, and so does the original raiser. So 3 of us head to a flop that comes out Jack 3-3. Both players quickly check. I'm just going to check this one back, see what happens on the turn. Turn card comes as a Jack of hearts. Both players check again. The first player seemed a little bit upset with that Jack, so I'm thinking that he didn't like it too much. I think I can bet for value here, and so I make it $40. Basically, I'm targeting hands like ace high, maybe ace king, ace queen, that have equity and maybe worth a call. But he ends up raising to $100, and I really don't read him for a jack at this point. He only has another $50 behind. I said I'm not going to be folding this to a river bet, so might as well just get it in while I think I'm still good. I show my 8s, he shows me queens, and I get owned again. This is becoming a regular thing lately. I haven't been playing well. Anyway, he takes this one down. We're giving back some of our winnings, and it doesn't feel good. Well, let's see if we can get it back with this hand. I end up getting 2 queens. There is a $6 straddle, bunch of limpers. Player to my right raises $250. I make it $200. All the limpers fold, and we're heads up to a flop of 5-4 deuce rainbow. Pretty good flop for pocket queens. He checks it over to me. I bet $200. Trying to protect my hand of queens. Probably get called by hands like medium-sized pocket pairs, maybe an ace king. Maybe he has like an ace in a wheel card. He puts in the call, and we get to see a turn card of a 3 of spades. Probably the worst card in the deck. He checks to me. I check it back. River card is now a jack of spades. Shouldn't change much. He's first to act and says $400. Of course, I think I'm beat right now, but the question is, how often am I beat? He bet $400 into an $800 pot. That makes it $1,200. If I call, it'll be $1,600, and then I'll have to win 25% of the time to get my money back. So is he bluffing 25% of the time or more? This game is playing fairly wild. I make the snap call. He shows me the ace-5, and of course I feel like an idiot once again for losing an extra $400. Well, my stack has been going straight downhill for the last hour or so. Haven't been playing well. I'm feeling the pain right now. I have the $6 straddle on. Player opens for $16. I get 2 callers, and I'm got ace-10 offsuit and decide to defend my straddle. And could squeeze here, but my stack is pretty short, and this game is pretty wild. I decided just to call. Flop comes queen 10-6 with 2 spades. So I got second pair, good kicker, and the backdoor nut flush draw. It's checked to the player who's the initial raiser, and he puts in a bet for $35. Player to my right calls, and of course I'm going to go ahead and call with all my backdoor draws, and I got second pair. Turn card comes is a blank 7 of hearts. I guess it completes a hand like 8, 9. Player to my right checks, I check, and it gets checked around. River card comes is the beautiful 10 of clubs. Player to my right checks again. I'm going to go ahead and bet. I put out a stack. I thought it was 100, but it ended up being only $95. First player, initial raiser, decides to fold, and then I end up getting a crying call from the player to my right, and end up winning this thing with 3 10s. There's a $6 straddle. One player limps. I make a 25 with 2 aces. End up getting 3 callers for the 25, including the initial limper. So the 4 of us are going to head off to this flop with $110 in the center. Flop comes out Jack 8 8. So not a great flop for my hand. I figure a lot of my opponents have those middling cards, but I'm going to go ahead and lead at this. I don't want to give anything free to them. If they have an 8, I want to find out right away. So I bet $50. First 2 players fold, and now it's the last player, and he tanks for a while, and he's either got some sort of speculative hand, like a straight draw, maybe a pocket pairs that he's thinking about calling, or he has some big hand that he is slow playing. Anyway, he does end up making the call, but it seems rather weak to me. So I'm planning to barrel any kind of blank. Turn card comes is a 3 of diamonds. That looks like a blank to me. He checks. I'm going to go ahead and bet again. I make it $100. Just trying to get value out of a jack, and if he has some sort of kind of straight draw, I want to get value from that. He makes like a 2 motion all in raise, and the dealer says no, you only make 1 motion unless you say raise. So it ends up being just a call. He doesn't have that much behind, and we see a 10 of clubs on the end, and he's pretty happy to get it all in. So I'm going, wow, was he really slow playing an 8? It doesn't make much sense. Pot's way too big for me to fold. It's cost me $66. So I go ahead and make the call. He turns over Queen 10 of diamonds, so he flopped a straight draw, turned a flush draw with it, and made a pair at the end. I'm in the small blind with ace 8 suited. The button puts in a raise. I go ahead and make the call for the $15, and so do 2 other players. So we're going to go 4 ways to this flop with $60 in. Flop comes out pretty good for my hand. It comes 10, 7, 7 with 2 spades. Yes, 2 spades. So we got the nut flush draw. Pretty good. I'm out of position, so I'm going to just lead with a check. And it gets checked to the player on the button, and he checks it back. So we're going to see a turn card here, and the turn card happens to be a good one. It's an ace. So I got top pair with a flush draw. I've thought about leading here, but I think my player on the button has a lot of bigger aces in his range, so I decided to play this one a little cautiously and just do a check call. He does bet $30. I do call, and we're going to go see a river card, which is a spade. So I got the nut flush, and now I'm debating whether I should just lead or check it over. He's been very aggressive. I decided to check it over. He checks it back right away, and I think I screwed up and missed out on some value. The super wild individual who was on the other end of the table earlier is now on my left in seat 9. He has been making that same kind of crazy overbets whenever he has the opportunity, and he's been telegraphing his play by actually grabbing his chips a little bit early. There's a $6 straddle. One player limps in for the 6. The player to my right raises to 25. I look down at 2 queens. I just call for the 25 because I noticed that the player is going to be making a move. And sure enough, he raises to $505. Yeah, it's good to notice what these crazy players are going to be doing. It makes playing pocket queens a whole lot easier. Anyway, it's folded back to the player on my right, and he tanks for a very long time. And he was thinking about making a hero call with his hand because he knows how crazy this player is playing, and that when he makes a 505, he can have just about anything. But he ends up folding. He later told me that he had pocket fives and was very seriously considering making the call. Of course, I only have one move here. I kind of Hollywood for a moment, and then I shove all in. Of course, he calls for the extra $220, and we're going to go see a run out. Hoping that my queens are good right now. Flop comes out, 5-4 deuce, and I go, if you put up another 3, I'm going to scream. Turn card is a king, not my favorite. River card's another king. I go, okay, that's better than a 3. I roll over my queens, and he mucks it. So we win a very nice pot here. A couple hands later, I look down at 2 kings, open for 15. Get a call from the player on my left, and now our tilted player from seat 9 shoves all in for $301. Everybody else folds out. Of course, I'm going to be making the call. The player behind me ends up making a fold, and we're going to go see another run out. This time I improved my hand, and I think he's probably doesn't have too much here. Flop comes out, Jack 4 deuce, turn card's a deuce, river card comes as a 6. He says he has nothing. I turn it over. I don't want to embarrass him any more than he already is, and we win another one. The wild player called it quits. He wasn't going to be rebuying anymore. A tough player came to replace him. I was very happy not only to get even, but actually booked a nice win thanks to those last 2 hands. I didn't play well today. What can I say? I didn't have my A game. I don't even know whether I had my B game today, but I did get into a good spot against that one opponent, and it paid off. So I decided to pack it up, head on home, and call it quits because no use to continue playing when you're not playing good. So I'm going to go home and do some studying, see if I can't plug all these leaks in my game. I've been hemorrhaging everywhere, especially in Texas, as you will know. It's time to get back to work and to put in the time and improve my game and hopefully improve my patience. I noticed that I've been getting impatient, and that's not good when you're playing poker. You have to be under control. We got about a month left in 2023. Hopefully we can make it a good one, put our rally cap on, and finish the year strong. So until next time, thanks for watching, and good luck at the tables. We'll see you back here soon.